G'day guys, Cruiserman Kai here with a rig rundown for my new dual cab 79. This has a Jmacx 300mm chassis extension which was completed by BAW Automotive in Brisbane. It's a 300mm chassis extension, 4.2 tonne GVM retaining leaf springs. It does use the Jmacx reinforced diff housing that does the track correction. Part of that is replacement of the wheels because you need load rated wheels. So I've gone with ROH Assaults, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. Just in the black with Mickey Thompson Baja ATZs P3s. These are the tyres you can't get anymore, but I had these on my old ute, which was a single cab 79 with the same camper. So yeah, good tyre. I quite like them. I gone with the Sandy Talk. It's my favourite colour. Everybody else seems to have one now, but it's still my favourite colour, so got to do what you like. The camper on the back is the same as my last video. I've got a pretty good rundown of the camper, but it's a Tong metal slide-on camper. It's got an integrated rooftop tent, queen size bed up the top. I've got kitchen, fridge on one side and storage on the other. At the back I've got a hot water service, the spare wheels, and a fold down staircase. So I've got really nice, easy access. The exhaust I got replaced with the GVM upgrade and suspension. So this is just the Torque 300mm, 3-inch stainless steel exhaust. It's got a DPF in it, so this doesn't sound anywhere near as good as it used to, or my non-DPF did, but still has a pretty good note. I've got LED auto lamp rear lights, so I just had a little bracket made to make those fit the factory Toyota tray. With the 300mm chassis extension, I've kept a standard 1800mm tray. Most 300mm extensions end up going for a 2.1 meter tray. Part of that is wanting this, I didn't want the overhang of the camper. I wanted as much weight up front and on top of the wheels as I could. And it also meant that if I tow something, like if I've got a boat or anything else, there's nothing overhanging the back. I've got a lot of movement or a lot of free space with a boat or caravan or anything like that hanging around the back. I don't really tow that much, but it sort of future-proofs it. At the back, this is a Jmacx full drive. Oh, wrong way. Jmacx full drive tow bar. It's 3.5 tonne rated. It has integrated recovery points, so two 5,000 kilo points on both sides, and then I just have an adjustable ball mount hitch to suit the trailer and things like that. I quite like this tow bar. It's also significantly higher again than the what's the other one? The Heyman Reese X bar, which has the red recovery point in the center, but it still sits about 40mm lower than this one. Now I just have an Anderson plug, 50 amp Anderson plug. I just ran some 6BNS wire to the back for charging batteries in the trailer, and nice little 7-pin hitch. What I like as well is that the departure angle's as high as possible because the chassis is longer. It's a bit better, and all of the wiring is above the above this bar, so things aren't gonna get ripped out. Now just quickly underneath as well, I do have airbags. These are just poly air airbags. They are controlled through the ARB link system that I have inside. I'll go through that in a second. Mud guards, I just put some Dunn and Watson one-piece mud guards. And I've got the ARB 4-litre air tank in the gap here. And I've got all of the solenoids. They're actually, they tell me they're waterproof, so I've got all the solenoids for the air compressor, airbags, entire pump up and down, all hidden behind that air tank there. And then at the bottom there I've got the auxiliary Brown Davis fuel tank. That is a 140 litres and with 130 litres in the rear. So that gives me, you know, quite a huge range and fuel capacity. Now I've got just the Anderson plug for the camper. I've got one on each side actually, and inside the camper I run a Red Arc Manager 30, and I've also got a Red Arc 1240D charger as well, so I can recharge the lithium batteries very quickly with that. Up in the roof is a Rhino rack platform. I've just got 4 max tracks, a couple of side lights, and a shovel, and then I've got camp lights. The rear camp light on the side here is the steady amber 7.5 inch, I think, and then I've got the amber whites, the white 7.5 inch at the front. I quite like that, those side lights. And then my main driving lights, these are all Supernova 52 inch light bar side lights, and my driving lights at the front here as well are Supernova 8.5 inch spotlights with the flood covers on them. The bull bar side rails are ARB Deluxe, I think they're called. Pretty sure that's what they are. I'm blanked on the names there. I've got a carbon 12,000 pound winch, and then underneath I have the custom off-road stainless steel bash plate, and I also have 2 recovery points at the front. These are from Road Safe. They come in a yellow. The yellow really didn't match the rest of the car, so I just sanded the yellow powder coating back and painted them rattle cannon black with a satin black paint can. I think it kind of matches in quite a lot better than bright yellow points. I know they're there, that's the main thing. In the cab I have a Uniden 80 channel UHF, just with all the controls on the handpiece. But I did go for the GVM aerial, and I have both the whatever this one is, 2.1 dBi I think, and I have a 6.6 dBi antenna as well. And then I have a little aerial for a Selfie Go, but I actually haven't installed the Selfie Go yet, so that's a bit of a later project. And also the snorkel's been replaced with a Safari Jmacx snorkel to get a bit more flow in there. So the snorkel, the wheels, the suspension, the chassis extension, and the exhaust and the fuel tank, that was all put in by BAW Automotive in Brisbane. They just did an absolutely fantastic job. Great to deal with. I had plenty of questions, spending a lot of money. Had plenty of questions on how they were progressing, and what I should do or shouldn't do leading up to the build, and they were very, very helpful. So could recommend them to absolutely everybody. So going inside, I've done a fair bit inside. I'll go around this side of it. Actually, what I might do is I'll lift the bonnet up first. I love my auto electronics. I know BAW are primarily, or used to be, autos. Oh, camera, what are you doing, mate? Come back around. Come back around. There we go. See if I can do this one here. What I haven't done is the gas struts. Absolutely should do the gas struts. All right, now I haven't cleaned under here. Haven't really cleaned anything actually. She's pretty grubby. Right, so pretty standard motor, but it has quite a few goodies on there, and I've used a whole bunch of different brands to suit what I wanted. I had a VDJ79 before this, and I added a lot to it, and sort of all the accessories, none of them really worked with each other very well. I had a fuel filter down under the battery here. Let me just zoom out there for a second. I had the fuel filter here. It was the Manager 30 kit, and you couldn't see the glass bowl, so if you had water in it, you couldn't actually tell. And so I've used the PDP bracketry. It's still a Manager 30 fuel system, but you can see the fuel bowl. Let me see if I can get in there. You can actually see the fuel bowl in there. So if you have contaminated fuel, you can see it. Now that makes a pretty big difference. And then with that bracket is also just like diff breathers. I've actually teed everything in, so front and rear diffs and the front and rear diff lockers and transfer case are all running into these two at the moment. Yeah, standard airbox for now. Look, I just grease the seal and I've never had any dusting issues. Maybe down the track. I do like the GSL ones, but I've spent a fair bit of money already, so all those things are going to wait. Up the front, I've just got a BCDC 1225D. That's just for the secondary battery. And there's an isolator for the winch. Now that isolator was put in by BAW as well, actually. Yeah, all the bar work and the winch. I've had this bracket made up by a local fab shop, and I have a 250 amp fuse underneath here running off some 50mm wiring, which is this big sucker here. So that's running all of the power system that's in the back of the behind the seats, which we'll go to. Standard crank battery. This is one of my DC chargers for the camper. I thought I was probably pushing my wiring a little bit. Underneath this battery is actually the catch can, and that was through can I remember the name? Oh, it's Mike's four-wheel drive as well, actually. Let's see if I can get it. It's just underneath this little cover. There's a plate for it there. And oh, this is a bit awkward. You can just see the bottom of the catch can there. So it uses the catch can's at the bottom. It's a really nice sneaky position. You can still drain it, which I drain it every 5,000. But it's nice and hidden and out of the way. Again, in my old car, the catch can was over here, and it's just such a prime bit of space wasted, I guess. I thought it was wasted anyway. These are my fuel lines running around. This is also the PDP dual battery kit. Hidden underneath here, let me just see if I can get under there. There we go, is the Red Arc SBI 12 relay as well, and that just means that my two start batteries here, I can push a button on the dash, link them together, jump start myself. Also, if I'm winching, I can join the batteries together. So all of my accessories run off my start battery. My secondary battery is purely for emergency starting. Now I've hidden all the relays for my driving lights up the front here. I just thought it was nice and neat and out of the way. And then there's an electronic brake controller. So there's a auto resetting relay at the front there. Obviously, if there's a fault with your brakes, you want your brakes to keep coming on or to keep trying to come on. BAW as well, with the GVM upgrade, they do the double diaphragm brake booster. I put this same brake booster on my old ute. It makes such a huge difference. I do plan on doing braided stainless steel lines as well. I think brakes on the old car were perhaps slightly better after I did that, but I'll probably just waiting a little while now. So head unit up there is a Polaris. Actually, I'll go on the front first. Yep, got a Polaris head unit. It's a little bit slow, but wireless Apple CarPlay is fantastic. I have a cruiser console, center console. I like the steel. I thought it was a little bit more industrial. I think it sort of suits the 79s a little bit better than the other ones, Department of Interior ones. And at the moment, I haven't got anything on the roof. I don't really need it. I've tried to be pretty careful with the way I've laid out my dash. So I've ordered a relocation kit button for the hazard lights. But apart from that, I have a changeover under here for my fuel tanks. Second auxiliary fuel tank display. It's incredibly inaccurate. It's absolutely rubbish actually. It says it's full until it's empty, but I'll just go off my kilometers anyway. A little pass through for the UHF, and I've hidden the UHF up under the dash, up under there. Same with my brake controller, it's hidden. Oh, actually no, it's not. The brake controller's up under the steering column. I've got in-cab controls for my winch. That was also put in by BAW. And then up on this side, I have just my battery link button, what I was talking about, and then I have my 2 relays that are up the front next to the radiator for my roof lights and my driving lights. Everything else is controlled to the ARB links with bigger tyres. I have a GPS speedo, so that's my primary way I'm driving with this. I've also got my voltages for my 2 batteries, the crank battery and my backup battery. I've got compressor controls for the ARB air compressor, and so I can set a predetermined tyre pressure. So I was filling up a wheelbarrow before, so I put 20 psi in it, but normally can set that to 45 or for my driving. It's got a clock which I never use, inclinometers which I also actually don't use, but I've got airbag control for my car. So while I'm driving, I can flick a button and very quickly, it'll auto up and down the bags to whatever I've preset them, and I also use them for leveling the car out if I'm camping, because the rooftop tent's built in. If I can't be bothered getting the Max tracks out, or if it's just a little bit of a little bit of uneven ground, I'll just use the airbags to level it out. You might be able to hear those solenoids flicking away at the back there. And then this one here, these just run all of my rooftop lights, reverse lights, side lights, things like that. And you can also pre-program, so I'll just flick my high beams on for a second, and I've got the side lights on my roof programmed in at the moment. I live in a really rural area, lots of kangaroos, so it's as much light as possible makes a huge difference. And these are our ADR approved switches, which is I've tried to make absolutely everything on this vehicle as legal as possible. Head unit, cruiser console, door pods. I've got Alpine Type R speakers, got an Alpine subwoofer underneath the driver's seat, and I have a PDX amplifier underneath the passenger seat. I love my music. Part of that was also sound deadening the whole cab. Did all of that myself as well. So using the Car Builders kit, and I've also put a rubber weather seal all along the door seals for the front. I haven't done the rear yet, but I did find that particularly here there's a lot of air leaking through. Once everything else was a lot quieter, I thought it was worth doing. Had the windows tinted, and I also have the one-stone armrests. Driving comfort. Obviously, I probably should have started, but this is more or less a dedicated touring vehicle. Haven't really been on a big trip yet. I've only had this car for about 6 months. But yeah, it's designed to be comfortable and to sit in it for days on end or weeks on end. So getting the creature comforts was pretty high on my priority list. So in the rear as well, I've got the door pods. Just recently had grandparents around, and the door pod actually makes this door quite narrow, and it makes it a bit harder for older people to get in and out. So keep that in mind, I reckon, before you do it. Now just let's flip these up over here. Get more space here. Just black duck seat covers. I got these second hand on Facebook Marketplace for $500 because when I bought this car, it was months and months of waiting for things to come. So in the back here, I have ARB air compressor, dual air compressor. My power lead runs out. These are my big power leads coming in from the battery. I ran the positive and the earth as well into this little MIDI fuse box. And so here I've got 8, I think. 2, 4, 6, 7, sorry. Yeah, 7 little MIDI fuse outlets, and so that's running all the big loads. So one's for Anderson plug on the tow bar, one's for the Anderson plug for the canopy, one's running the little projector 600 watt inverter, and then I have another little power distribution box down here. This is a Stinger relay. They're not called digital relays, can't think of the name at the moment. Stinger Auto, no, blanking on it completely. They're totally electronic, there's no moving parts in them, so they're meant to be quite reliable. Oh, it's got a solid state relay, that's the one. And then 2 conventional relays down below that, which run my roof lights. I figured non-essential things. And then this box here is the ARB Links control unit. So all of my roof lights and you know, the voltages from the start batteries and the inputs from high beam, low GM Parker's high beam, all those inputs that it requires come from there as well. So I quite like this. I had this bracket made up, and you know, I insulated the cab, had this bracket made up, and then sort of put all of this through. My plan is to have another, I've got the space and it's actually marked out there for a 1240D charger, and I was looking to put a slimline lithium battery on the floor under here. But honestly, I don't think I actually need the extra power. I've got 280 amps in the camper, and it's more than enough power actually for you know, over a week or more of camping. So for now, it's probably going to stay as it is. What else? I've got a 75 litre water tank underneath the tray. I would have liked to have more water, but that also leads me on to this next bit as well. So up underneath the fuel filler, I've got air outlets for the air compressor, and again, like I said, I can preset that to and I have one on the left hand side here as well, on the passenger side, which is nice and handy spot. 2 hoses, 2 air hoses, so I can reach all of the wheels on the trailer or on the car from each side, or I can link them together if I want to use it as an air compressor to blow things down or anything like that. And then this is just a little tap outlet for the water tank. There's a reverse camera for the head unit. It's a great camera, good location there as well. I can see the top of the tow ball, just the top, but I get a really good field of view from trying to back out of something as well, in addition to the little reverse lights on the back. I do have plans to put a trundle drawer in this space. It's a big space that's not utilised at all. And the plan with the legs is that I can have some more recovery gear, a few spares. I just want an air filter and a couple of fuel filters, and also the legs for the canopy, so I can jack the canopy off when we're out traveling, and then have the ute, which the camper's very easy to take off. It's always a compromise on weight, but I think the versatility of having a jack-off camper when you're traveling, it's worth having it. Yeah, look, I think that's about it for my video. First run through. I might go into a bit more detail on a few other things, I guess, like the head unit's got HEMA maps and all sorts of extra features in it, and the electrics I think are pretty cool. I mean, look, it's built to do exactly what I want it to do. Might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's yeah, I'm pretty stoked with it. It's a lot of time and effort, and of course the cost that goes into building a vehicle like this, and so you want to be happy with it at the end of the day. And absolutely every time I get in it, start it up, go for a drive, even if it's just going to the shops, it brings me a lot of joy. So I thought I'd share it with you. Cheers, guys. Thanks for your time watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Cheers. Bye.